So, in a vast, endlessly complex universe of heaven and earth, why do humans even exist? I mean, are we just a cosmic accident, just a tiny speck on a pale blue dot? Or do we actually serve a fundamental, completely irreplaceable purpose in the grand machinery of existence? It's a hugely profound existential question. And today, we're going to explore a uniquely fascinating answer. Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through today's source material, where we're going deep into the Daesun Jinriho core teachings. We're specifically focusing on this incredible concept known as the cosmic triad: heaven, earth, and humanity. These teachings present a radically empowering view of human existence. Instead of seeing us as just passive observers of the universe, this philosophy literally puts humanity right at the steering wheel. We're going to unpack exactly how and why this works, looking at some beautifully structured ancient wisdom, and honestly, a few surprisingly modern analogies along the way. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the universe's center: heaven, earth, and humanity. To really figure out our place in the universe, we first have to map out the foundational architecture of reality according to this teaching. The specific phrasing in the ancient texts explicitly states a core premise: when heaven and earth divide, the three realms take their place, and humanity resides in the center of heaven and earth. And, this isn't just a poetic metaphor, it's a literal structural diagram of reality. Humanity is positioned directly between the vast expanse of heaven up above and the grounding force of earth down below. But what does being in the center actually mean in this context? It's absolutely vital to clarify that being in the center doesn't just mean being sandwiched in the physical middle, kind of like the meat in a cosmic sandwich. In this philosophy, the word for center implies being the essential core, the hub, the crucial keystone. Imagine a giant stone archway. The keystone is right there in the center, and without it, the whole shebang just collapses. The teachings argue that heaven and earth, despite all of their immense power, desperately need humanity to function properly. Which brings us to Section 2, endless clashing and cosmic crisis. To understand why we're so essential, we really have to look at what happens when the universe is just left to its own devices. Heaven and earth are driven by two extreme opposing energies. Heaven represents yang, which we can think of as fire. It's active, rising, intense. Earth, on the other hand, represents yin, which is like water, receptive, settling, cold. Think of it like the human body, the immense heat of the heart versus the cool fluid of the kidneys. If these two extreme forces don't harmonize, if they just crash into each other unmediated, it causes absolute chaos. In a human body, that imbalance causes severe illness. But on a cosmic scale, the results are literally apocalyptic. And our source material actually points to historical texts that document epic disasters as direct evidence of this cosmic clashing. When yin and yang fail to harmonize, nature just lashes out. The texts cite the catastrophic 9-year flood during the era of Emperor Yao, a time when water, or yin energy, completely overwhelmed the earth. Then, a few centuries later, the pendulum swung wildly to the other extreme, bringing a devastating 7-year drought during the transition of the Shah and Shang dynasties, where yang fire energy basically scorched reality. These aren't just viewed as, bad weather events. They're seen as symptoms of a universe failing to regulate its own extreme energies. So, what's the solution to this extreme cosmic volatility? Well, that's where we come in. Humanity is designed to act as the cosmic safety valve. Because heaven and earth struggle to achieve a perfect harmonious balance on their own, humans are required to step in and mediate. We are the exact mechanism that prevents the universe from tearing itself apart with endless droughts and floods. But how exactly are we equipped to do this monumental job? Let's look at Section 3, Hunbeck, the human microcosm. To see how we possess this incredible mediating power, we have to look inward at our own architecture. And what's really interesting here is this brilliantly modern analogy the source material uses to explain a very ancient concept. According to the teachings, every human possesses a heavenly soul, called Hun, and an earthly spirit, called Bak. The text compares the Hun descending from the active heaven to a computer's CPU. It's dynamic, it's processing, it's constantly generating new actions. The Bak, originating from the receptive earth, is compared to the computer's memory or storage. It records, it grounds, and it holds information. Just like a computer needs both the CPU and memory to actually work, a human requires both heaven's Hun and earth's Bak to be whole. And this cyclical system brilliantly illustrates how we bridge the gap. Notice how the Hun descends from heaven and the Bak rises from earth, converging perfectly right inside of us. Because we're built from the exact same raw materials as the universe, possessing both the ultimate yang and the ultimate yin, we inherently understand both of them. We have the totally unique capacity to process heaven's active intent and ground it firmly in Earth's physical reality. In the philosophy of the five elements, humanity actually corresponds to Earth, or Tu, which is symbolized by the color yellow. Now, this central element isn't just dirt. It represents the ultimate mediating force. It possesses both yin and yang harmoniously. Because we are the specific central element, we're fundamentally designed to step right between the raging fire of heaven and the deep waters of Earth, absorbing their extremes and facilitating a balanced, life-giving flow. Moving into Section 4, the philosophy of the base sketch. But, having this potential is one thing, actually executing it is a whole different story. How do we practically apply this massive cosmic responsibility in our daily lives? Well, to manage the universe, we have to adopt the mindset of the universe itself. The text draws upon ancient wisdom, specifically excerpts from the Tao Te Ching, to map out this required mindset. Heaven and earth govern the universe perfectly for one simple reason. They have absolutely no selfish desires. They possess what is called a public mind. They give life to everything, but they don't claim ownership over any of it. Let's just take a second to really absorb this profound quote. Produces without possessing, acts without presuming, guides without interfering. That is the definition of cosmic virtue. Imagine creating a universe and demanding absolutely zero credit. If humanity is going to step up and act as the cosmic mediator, we have to mirror this exact level of selflessness. Because if we use our unique mediating power for selfish gain or ego, we disrupt the very balance we were created to maintain. So the crucial point here is beautifully captured in a metaphor from the text, the yellow base sketch. When a painter creates a masterpiece, they often draw a foundational sketch in yellow underneath it all. This yellow sketch guides all the other colors and structures the entire painting, but by the time the masterpiece is finished, the yellow is completely invisible. It doesn't demand to be seen. Humanity must act as this yellow sketch for the universe. We have to guide and harmonize reality through what's called hidden virtue, doing the essential work without ever seeking the spotlight. So to actually fulfill our cosmic role, we need to cultivate three things. First, a public mind over our own selfish desires. Second, the practice of hidden virtue, meaning doing good without leaving a signature. And third, acting as the invisible mediator in our homes, our societies, and the world. The text specifically warns that demanding recognition for our good deeds actually diminishes us, labeling someone who constantly seeks praise as a small person. To be a true cosmic mediator, you have to be totally comfortable being the invisible force that makes harmony possible. And that leads us to our final part, Section 5, Human Nobility Completing the Universe. We're really reaching the grand climax of these teachings now. If we manage to cultivate this hidden virtue and step fully into our role as mediators, what is the ultimate goal? The teachings define the ultimate state of human existence as becoming one with heaven and earth. Now, this isn't some passive, floaty state of enlightenment. It means utilizing cosmic wisdom to actively manage the universe. It means matching the exact operational power of the cosmos, utilizing the flow of time and energy perfectly, and doing it completely devoid of selfish intent. We literally become co-creators and active managers of reality. This builds to a pretty striking conclusion with the era of human nobility, or INJIN. In this era, human execution and mediation are recognized as the supreme, completing force of the universe. Sure, heaven and earth set the stage and provide the energy, but it is the nobility of the human spirit, our ability to perfectly and selflessly harmonize that energy, that actually holds reality together. We're no longer just living in the universe, we are the keystone keeping it perfectly balanced. Which brings all of this right back down to earth, to your actual daily life. You are made of the fire of heaven and the water of earth. You possess the exact cosmic architecture required to bring balance to chaos. So, the question the text ultimately leaves us with is this. In your own life, in your own relationships, and the challenges you face, will you let your ego clash like thunder? Or will you be the hidden yellow sketch that quietly, selflessly harmonizes your world today? Something to really think about as you go through your day. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.